Hisuian Goodra is something from the Pokemon Legends of Arceus game and has had great results, but most of them have been with an Iron Defense or Acid Armor Shelter Body Press set, and I think Hisuian Goodra has a lot of great coverage and upgrades from the original Goodra that haven't been explored yet. But this team that hit top 10 on the ranked ladder does feature an Assault Vest Goodra with a lot of coverage, and we're going to try out this team and see how well it performs. This team features Assault Vest Hisuian Goodra and Swords Dance Safety Goggles of Shifu. The idea of the team is to set up screens with the Grimmsnarl, making the Goodra that's really hard to break through with the Sap Sipper alongside the Terra Water, while being able to dish out a lot of great coverage because it has really solid offensive tools. With the Golden Gold that can take advantage of the screens with the Nasty Plot, the Amoonguss that can Pollen Puff the Goodra, as well as the Golden Gold for support alongside Rage Powder and Clear Smog to get rid of any stat boosts from the opponents, and then the Landorus variant to help support the team with Intimidate. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they will be linked in the description down below. Tornadus, Regidrago, Heatran, Urshifu, Dragonite, and Fluttermane. Scary team. I do have Grimmsnarl, which actually this team does not like facing Grimmsnarl much. Screens is pretty difficult for them to actually break through with this Tailwind offense team. So I like the idea of Grimmsnarl. Goodra's really good here. I like Amoonguss. Do I want Landorus is the question. I don't need Landorus too much. Urshifu can definitely be brought. Just because it helps out against Dara Urshifu, which is always like welcomed here. I could bring Landorus, but I don't think it's that good here. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's that good here. I don't know if Urshifu or Gold. Gold could actually be good here too. Especially with the Terra Water, if I want to go for the Terra Water. It's also like a Dragon Energy switch, which is always welcomed in this matchup. I do like the Goodra. I like the Amoonguss. And then it's either between Urshifu or Golden Go. I think both are really solid. I think I kind of like the Golden Go more. I think they're bringing Heatran, so I could force them to Terra, but either one's fine. I think I want to try the Golden Go route and just see how well it performs here. Landorus doesn't do too well in this matchup. I want to say unless I Terra the Landorus, and I just don't know if I'm going to Terra the Landorus because Terra Landorus only works because like since I'm locked in a Choice Scarf, I either have to force the Heatran to Terra like pretty quickly and then be able to confirm a Terra Blast into it, or just, you know, Stomping Tantrum afterward. We're going to see the Heatran and the Tornadus, which actually works out pretty well for me. So I'm going to be able to get a Light Screen up very easily. And let's go for a Mud Shot, I think, into the Heatran turn 1. And I kind of like that. Do I need to Terra immediately? I don't think I ever... Yeah, I can just Terra immediately. There's no reason not to Terra. Because I don't see... I mean, I could Terra my Golden Go, but I just don't really feel like I... If I get rid of the Heatran early, I don't need to Terra the Golden Go at all, so... I wouldn't be surprised if this is Taunt, Heat Wave. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just Break, Wind, Storm. I don't think they're ever going to really need a... What's it called? I don't think they ever need a Tailwind. They went for Tailwind. I'm surprised. I didn't think they need Tailwind in this, but that works out fine for me. I'm able to get a Light Screen up with my Grimmsnarl. Fantastic. I get a Mud Shot off into the Heatran. They go for Flash Cannon. Beautiful. That's not going to do too much damage. Yep. Barely a 2-shot. We don't even know if it will be. A Mud Shot going to come out in the Heatran. Very, very good damage. So perfect. And we get a Speed Drop, which maybe could matter. It's not Leftovers Heatran, so I don't think it has sub. Can't really heal either. So this is a really good position. I think I'm just going to Parting Shot out to Tornadus and kind of want to Thunderbolt to Tornadus to cover any swaps. And I do like that play. So I think I'm going to Thunderbolt the Tornadus here. All right, no swaps and no protect. So I am going to be able to get Parting Shot off into the Grimmsnarl. Or into the Tornadus with the Grimmsnarl. I guess I could go Golden Go here because I really don't need Golden Go for much in this matchup. Like, it was just a backup, I felt. So yeah, I like Amoonguss healthy. I think Amoonguss healthy is really important. This could be Break, Wind, Storm plus Flash Cannon coming out again. But they could go for Heat Wave, which is cool. As you see with the Light Screen and the Parting Shot, that does absolutely no damage. They did Flash Cannon again too, which is perfect. Actually, is this team the team with the Scarf Heatran? It might be. Thunderbolt going to come out into the Torn. Really good damage. They're super weakened now. Paralysis on top of that as well. Fantastic. Okay. Fantastic. All right. kind of want to double out my Golden Go, but I could also just put on a lot of offensive pressure by just going for a Make It Rain or a Nasty Plot. I think I'm just going to Make It Rain, and I'm just going to go for a... Do I think Thunderbolt would knock out the Heatran range? I think I'd rather just Mud Shot, and it covers like all bases, so I think I am just going to Mud Shot the Heatran. We're just going to see them stay in. They're going to Flash Cannon my Gold, so I'm glad I didn't go for the double for Grim, because I had a feeling that they might try to sack the Heatran. Icy Wind going to come out, which does absolutely no damage to my side of the field, so this has been a dream position so far, but I can't be conceded yet because the Regidrago is going to be coming in soon, and that thing is going to hurt like a truck. I do get the knockout into the... I do get the knockout in a Torn. We do get the damage in the Heatran. Good. So is this our Shifu next to the Regidrago? That's probably like the scariest combination, and I'm going to have to play around a few factors. So let's see if that's going to be the case. I think the combination of Grimmsnarl plus Goodra should be able to win if I get them in safely. We're going to see the Flutter Mane come in. Okay, so that's actually a lot less threatening to me. And a... Regidrago, okay. I have light screen set up already, so I'm not that concerned. I think I'm just going to switch out into my Grimmsnarl for the Golden Go. And I'm willing to just go for a Draco Meteor into the Regidrago. If I get rid of the Regidrago, I'm in a really, really good position for the Golden Go and Amoonguss endgame. So the Regidrago is the only one I'm like actually terrified of. We are going to go into Grimmsnarl, switching in Dragon Energy. They Shadow Ball. What was the gold? Nice. So we still have the spread around. I don't think Shadow Ball was KOing, but if they crit me, that was annoying. Dragon Energy is going to be fired off into my team. That did no damage. The Goodra with the Assault Vest, and this Draco Meteor will be fired off into Regidrago. Pick up the knockout. It is a 4v1 position right now. It is not looking good for my opponent right here, and I'm going to make my opponents make sure that I can't lose this game. I'm going to go for a Parting Shot into the Flutter Mane, get in my Amoonguss, and I'm going to Mud Shot the Flutter Mane as well for the speed drop so I can position with Golden Go. They're going to Terra here, so I guess if it's a defensive Terra, I do have to play differently with my Golden Go than I would expect, but it's going to be Terra Fairy, so they're vulnerable to Make It Rain. I need 2 Mud Shots off into Flutter Mane, and I should have it secured. And I just don't see how they're... I think we're still okay regardless. Parting Shot, like, they need a lot of luck, and I don't even know if that luck will even be able to save them. So I guess first one will be Substitute, as we're gonna go Amoonguss here, as we do have the poison typing. We'll be resisting these Dazzling Gleams or Moonblast. They do go for a Dazzling Gleam, okay, but I don't think that's doing any damage. Look at how low to damage to Goodra that is. Mud Shot gonna come out into Flutter Mane. Doesn't do much damage either, but the speed drop's pretty huge. One more speed drop will allow me to outspeed with my Golden Go, and that will help secure the game. So we're just going to Mud Shot the Flutter Mane. Are we going to see a forfeit? The forfeit is locked in. Assault Vest Goodra, man, that mom went insane in that matchup. They could not do anything to my team under the screens. Actually impressive how well it was able to perform there. Dragapult, Chien Power, or Shifu, Rillaboom, Heatran, Farigiraf. Okay, this is pretty standard what we've been seeing in some of the online tour teams recently. I really do like Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl's fantastic here. I do like the Goodra. I believe Draco Meteor can do a ton of damage to the Dragapult. I don't know if I want to go Goodra. I could Terra here. I'm not 100% certain, actually. I have like quite a few options. The Landorus with a Choice Scarf. Do I outspeed? I do not outspeed. Do I outspeed Dragapult? I don't think I do. I don't think I do. Okay. So I do want to bring Grimmsnarl. I do want to bring the Goodra. I think I want to bring... What else do I need to win the game? Can my Goodra can't break through the Heatran? It can. I think it's definitely Goodra. I think it's Amoonguss. The last Pokemon is where I'm considering where it's going to be Golden Go, which Golden Go can be good against their team or my owner Shifu. I'm kind of leaning towards either because I think both of them are pretty acceptable. I want to say it'd probably be Gold. I think Gold might be better. Although I do actually no, I like Urshifu. because Urshifu is better at handling the Xianpao, which I think is going to be even scarier of a problem. I was thinking about bringing Gold to help out against the Rillaboom, but I think if I have a Amoonguss still healthy, I should still be okay against the Rillaboom. Because I'll be able to pivot around attacks. However, I do have to watch out. I think that is going to be the scariest Pokemon to deal with. First, see the Rillaboom Dragapult. Okay. So this is pretty acceptable. I do lead my Goodra and my Grimmsnarl against the Dragapult and the Rillaboom. I am going to be able to potentially get a Reflect up here, and I will go for the Reflect. And I can go for a Draco Meteor straight away into the Dragapult. They can fake out one slot. They could switch into Xianpao, but most likely I'd imagine you fake out maybe the Grimmsnarl to prevent it from getting Reflect. Goodra should be able to live with one, I think, Terra Blast, and then Draco Meteor can KO depending on the set here. I just like the idea of just going for a Draco Meteor, getting rid of the biggest offensive threat that I think that this team suffers from, which is going to be the Dragapult, which is the wall breaker on this team. So let us see if this is going to match up. I think my opponent has a few plays. There could be U-turn out from the Dragapult. There could be a swap into the Xianpao, Terra Blast, but I really do think a fake out is just going to be coming out. No fake out actually, huh? So they give me the Reflect, which is perfect. We're going to see U-turn does come out. Okay, so they do reveal U-turn. Something's taking some heavy damage from this Draco Meteor. And this might be Xianpao, maybe they want to U-turn into Woodhammer and a Grim immediately. Yeah, it is Xianpao, which is fine. I get a lot of damage into Xianpao, and that's a pretty happy trade-off right here for what I can get. So Woodhammer is going to come out into the Grimmsnarl, and with that Reflect, we are able to survive. The Rillaboom also has taken chip damage, which is beautiful, and we are able to get a nice Draco Meteor off into the Xianpao and bring it down to the Focus Sash. So very, very nice here. Getting that Xianpao really weakened means I won't have to worry about the Sword of Ruin, which is actually pretty important in this game overall, so I'm very happy with this. And now I can go for a Parting Shot very safely. I'm going to go for a Parting Shot, I think, into the Rillaboom. Yeah, I like the idea of Parting Shot the Rillaboom. I can't Parting Shot the Xianpao because it's Dark type. There is like a Dragapult that could sneakily switch in, but I think that's all right. And I think I'll go for a... I think Ice Beam KOs the Xianpao at this range at -2. I would say yes. Trying to think. I could also reposition here. There is like a few things I could do here. I like the idea of going for a Parting Shot into the Rillaboom. And I don't mind going out into, I think, a Amoonguss on this slot, actually. Because I think they might protect the Xianpao. They might also just go for a Sacred Sword or Ice Spinner into the Amoonguss, which is fine as well, which I'll happily take. Let's find out if that's going to be the case. We are going to get a Parting Shot off into the Rillaboom, so that's fantastic. We might see a U-turn into the Grimmsnarl slot, and like the Xianpao tries to get some heavy damage into the Goodra this turn, which is why I kind of want to reposition it this way. I am going to bring out my Goodra just in case. I do have Sap Zipper, but I don't think it's going to matter too much in this game, but we'll find out. It's going to be Sacred Sword. Yep, they did target down what was originally going to be the Goodra, so we are able to get that beautiful Rocky Helmet damage into the Xianpao and pick up that knockout. Excellent. And we're going to see a U-turn. Yep, a U-turn into the Goodra. So exactly as I thought. Good thing I did not go for what my original play was. I would have taken a pretty hefty amount of damage. Granted, I had Reflect up, so it wouldn't have been too much, but definitely I think I got the best of both worlds here. We're going to see the Heatran come out, which is perfect. And Terra Water Goodra with the Sap Zipper seems pretty hard to break through for this team that my opponent has. I definitely am going to go for Terra Water because I am immune to everything that they can really offer. The Rillaboom is going to come in. And yeah, I can go for... I'm going to go for a Terra here. Go for the Ice Beam, I think. And do I want an Ice Beam? What I think is the bigger threat, Rillaboom or Heatran? I'm not really that scared of the Heatran, personally. I think I'm just going to go for an Ice Beam in the Rillaboom and get some guaranteed chip. And I think hard into the Urshifu makes a lot of sense to me. So let's pivot out because this is probably a Heat Wave coming out. And Rillaboom fake out, I'd assume it's a Terra Grass maybe. And a fake out into the Goodra. That's what I'm expecting here. But looks like no Terra. Unless the Heatran's slower, which actually could make sense. Goodra is going to Terra here because I don't want to take Heat Waves for neutral or do a decent amount. I'm no longer weak to the ground type attacks my opponent can dish out, so feeling pretty good about this. Fake out is going to come out into what was the Goodra, and we do see a substitute, which is fine. Okay. because I do have Surging Strike's pressure with the Urshifu, so perfectly acceptable. And Ice Beam's always pinning the Rillaboom slot, so they can't safely go out into Dragapult. So this is a really good position here for me, because we can find out a Terra. We know that it's leftovers Heatran. The Heatran can only have, you want to assume it's always going to have a fire move. Now the question is it Earth Power, Flash Cannon, or Grass Terra Blast is the last move? I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam and the Rillaboom. I'm going to go for the Protector for Urshifu. It's a very safe play overall. There's not really anything I think my opponent can super heavily punish with. A knockoff into the Goodra, I guess, but I don't really feel like that's a big issue. We're going to see the Heatran does go for the Terra here, it looks like. So we are going to be able to see if it goes for the Terra Grass or not, which we have Ice Beam for. So now they have all Mons weak to Ice here. Yep, it is Terra Grass. So it's immune to the Amoonguss' Spore. But I don't really need, all I need Amoonguss for is just pollen puffing my team. I really don't need it otherwise. I'm just going to focus everything around the Heatran, because the Heatran can do anything to my my Goodra, really. They go for the Wood Hammer, but I am Sap Zip or into the Urshifu. I thought they were going to target my Goodra, but that works out too. We're going to see Heat Wave just come out. Okay, so I guess maybe trying to cover for the Amoonguss, because there was a play I could have just went into the Amoonguss here. Heat Wave going to come out into the Goodra, and as you can see, I'm taking that damage extremely well here. Ice Beam is going to be fired off into the Rillaboom for some pretty hefty amount of damage. Oh, freeze. Okay. I would like an Ice Beam. Let's see here. Do I want a Drain Punch? Because Urshifu is really not necessary to win this game. Like, it realistically isn't. I could just Drain Punch here. And Ice Beam, which I don't mind going for. I'm just trying to think of the consequences. I want to make sure I pressure the Dragapult later on. Maybe I could get greedy here. I could definitely see myself getting greedy here, which I don't mind. I think I'm going to Ice Beam the Rillaboom, and I'm going to Swords Dance. If I lose Urshifu, it's not that big of a deal in my opinion, because I just get to go out into Amoonguss afterward. But we'll see. I'm going to be able to go for the Swords Dance here. We're going to see the Rillaboom still frozen solid. Okay. I really don't think it was necessary, but we'll take it. Heat Wave going to come out into my Amoonguss and my Urshifu. Oh, they get the burn on Goodra, which could matter with Substall, I guess. Ice Beam not going to knock out the Rillaboom, but it's not that big of a deal. They Terra'd with the Heatran, so they can't really Terra with anything else. All right. Grassy Terrain disappears from the battlefield. We can go for a Ice Beam into the Heatran slot. Get rid of that sub. I'm going to Surging Strikes the Rillaboom always. That was going to be forfeit because they kind of realized that the Goodra next to the +2 Urshifu alongside the Amoonguss, and I still have a Grimmsnarl under the Reflect. It's so hard to break through for their team. They kind of realize they don't have enough firepower to break through, and I'm just going to be able to seal that because I'm assuming it's not Terra Blast Heatran in that case. I'm assuming maybe Flash Cannon because they didn't even attempt to go for Earth Power to get like special defense drops. So I'm thinking like, okay, they probably just didn't have a way to break through the Goodra with the Heatran or the Urshifu with the Heatran. The Rillaboom was only the best way to break through because I was healthy enough, and yeah, I was able to get a lot of momentum, I think, by knocking out that Chi-Empower early with the Draco Meteor into the Rocky Helmet chip, and then like Goodra really was able to break through a lot of their team while they couldn't do much damage to me. Heatran, Cleaver, Fluttermane, Iron Hands, Amoonguss, Urshifu. I wonder if it's Dark Urshifu or Water Urshifu on this team because I could see either. Usually I would expect Water, but I could see Dark on this team potentially. They do have that really big threat of the Stone Axe, which I'm gonna have to worry about. My Urshifu is actually really good with the Swords Dance set. It's really strong into their team, so I do really like the idea of Swords Dance Urshifu in this matchup. I like my Goodra as well for some pretty heavy damage. Landers can put in a lot of work. Amoonguss is pretty solid, so we have like a lot of good tools. I think I want to go with Grimmsnarl or Urshifu. I think it's like pretty solid overall. And then I think in the back, I mean, I could bring Amoonguss, but I don't want to really bring Amoonguss too much in this matchup. I think I'll go with Landers and the Goodra as the back too. I like Goodra because I can definitely break through quite a few things with some very powerful hits. I also wanted to bring it as an insurance against the Heatran if it Terras, because it's otherwise a a little bit annoying because I don't know if I'm going to Terra yet with my Urshifu. I could see myself Terraing the Urshifu just so like I'm not getting like broken through by the Flutter Mane, so I can actually go for Surging Strikes afterward, which isn't too bad. Like the Sword Stance into the Surging Strikes or just raw Surging Strikes with Terra would be pretty good in the Flutter Mane. We're gonna see Flutter Mane or Urshifu lead. Okay, it is Dark Urshifu, so we did actually account for that. All right, perfect. The only problem with this is the Flutter Mane. Oh, it's Speed Booster Flutter Mane, which actually makes this a lot easier. Okay, so I don't mind going for a Light Screen here because I imagine they're going to go for a Dazzling Gleam if so, and maybe just go for the Surging Strikes immediately. And I don't think that's a bad play. I want the Swords Dance for the victory, but I don't think I need it. I don't want to Terra with my Urshifu because they could Wicked Blow, double up their Urshifu slot, and that would be really bad. I think I'm just going to Surging Strikes the Flutter Mane. The Flutter Mane's in a weird spot with the Urshifu because their Urshifu is pressured by both of my Mons in the Grimmsnarl and my own Urshifu. They're not choice specs or Life Orb or Booster Energy, so I'm really not threatened by the damage output of the Flutter Mane, so I'm feeling pretty happy. Yeah, the Urshifu is actually being forced to switch out instead, which is perfect actually because Amoonguss is coming in, but I have the safety goggles on the Urshifu, so I'm not really too worried. We are going to see a Terra though, so this might be Terra Moonblast or Terra Dazzling Gleam. I should be able to survive either. Oh no, they Terra Water. Okay, that's fine. Terra Water is interesting here. Okay, so I'm gonna go for a Light Screen here. I think that means I could set up my Urshifu in a really good position. They Moonblast my Grimmsnarl, which is reasonable. They want to try to get rid of the screens later on as quickly as possible. We do go for the Surging Strikes into the Flutter Mane, and now we're in a really actually that does half. That does do half. That's actually insane. But okay, perfect. I think I'm just gonna Parting Shot the I want to Parting Shot the Flutter Mane. I kind of want to Parting Shot the Amoonguss because there's a chance Amoonguss goes for Spore, but if they protect Spore, they're probably sporing their Urshifu, which I think is fine. I think I'm just going to Parting Shot out the Flutter Mane anyway and just Drain Punch the Flutter Mane as well. They go for a Rage Powder, which is acceptable. Again, I have to safety goggles, so I'm not really too concerned about the Flutter Mane. I imagine that means Flutter Mane's going to try to get the knockout into my Grimmsnarl, but we'll find out because you're using Amoonguss to try and chip away the Urshifu. But we'll see. I am going to go out into my Goodra here because Goodra is going to be able to tank the attack really well from a Moonblast from Flutter Mane. So definitely bring out the Goodra here. We're going to see the Moonblast does hard down to Urshifu. Okay. As you see, I take it pretty well. Special attack shot doesn't matter. I am able to get a Drain Punch off into the Flutter Mane and pick up that knockout. Critical hit should not have mattered. So perfect. Get back to half health, which is very nice. And Flutter Mane eliminated. Now, I'm kind of curious on how much the Dark Urshifu does because the Wicked Blow is going to do so much damage to my team. But they can't Terra at least, so I don't think they can actually pick up the knockout. I don't have Reflect though, which is something I would have really liked. Oh, they actually go hard into Iron Hands immediately, which that works out. So they know I'm Goggles on my Urshifu. I think my best play is just to Ice Beam the Amoonguss. What was their back? It's Dark Urshifu. Okay. And probably just go Landorus for the Intimidate because they aren't going to Spore their Urshifu. They know that I am the safety goggles, so I don't think they're going to read the switch. They could read the switch to Landorus, but they might just try to Spore the Goodra. I'm going to go out into Landorus and get the Intimidate off into Iron Hands as well as Threats and Terra Blast into the Amoonguss afterward, which I think is like pretty nice. Ice Beam going to come out into the Amoonguss. That's a lot of damage. A critical hit, but I think it was still a 2-shot, which is still pretty nice. Oh, they reveal Sword Stance. Interesting. Okay. That changes a bit. They did Spore attempting the Goodra. Perfect. Okay. That crit's kind of interesting. I do want to U-turn out, I think. I guess this is where it gets a little bit complicated. I kind of want to just Draco Meteor the Amoonguss, and I kind of want to just go for a Stomping Tantrum, I guess. Yeah, I don't think that's too bad. They could Rage Powder, which is fine. They're taking a Stomping. Stomping should knock out the Amoonguss, and the Draco Meteor hits into the Iron Hands. That's not Assault Vest. If they don't Rage Powder, I still do a lot of damage to Iron Hands. I get Draco Meteor off, knock out the Amoonguss, which is pretty big. And I think I'm in a really good position with the combination of Urshifu plus the Grimmsnarl. Drain Punch is going to come out, and a Goodra does pick up the knockout, which is fine. Okay. I wonder what item the Urshifu is, because that's going to be a pretty big deal. That is going to be a pretty big deal. I'm going to go out into my Urshifu, or do I go on a Grim? I could see either or. I think I'd want to go Urshifu first, and then get back into Landorus. Leftovers is actually a bit scary though with that Iron Hands. It's healing more HP. Urshifu going to come in. I think I just want to Drain Punch the Urshifu, and I want to go out in the Grim. I'm pretty sure. Because bring out Urshifu means that their Urshifu, if they have Protect, they really can't go for it. A Wicked Blow can come out. They could lock themselves into close combat, I guess, if they do have close combat and they're like choiced in a fashion. But we'll see. They go for a Wicked Blow into what was Landorus. Nice. Which was, I don't think that's choice banded. But I'm going to be able to get a Drain Punch off into the Urshifu. Really good amount of damage, and I have Stomping Tantrum, which is nice. I can get a Reflect up afterward if they didn't go for the Landorus slot, which I don't think... Did they double up? No, they went for Wall Charge, which is perfect. Yep. Okay. Cards down to Urshifu. Did they tear? They tear at the Flutter Mane. So yeah, my game plan I think is pretty acceptable here. We can go out into our Landorus, get Intimidate off onto both of these Pokemon. So the Urshifu's -1. The Iron Hands is going to be at neutral, and we can go for Stomping Tantrum into the Urshifu, because we always will make sure that a Wicked Blow doesn't go off into the slot, and we can get a Reflect up with Grim. So yeah, we're going to Stomping Tantrum. If we had Earthquake, this would probably be like guaranteed seal, but it's okay. We do go for the Reflect here. Was there Terra to change anything? They go for Detect with the Urshifu, which is okay. We are able to get a Reflect up. I guess if they Sword Stance is an interesting position. But we'll see. Stomping Tantrum into the Protect. They do Drain Punch. It does KO Grim. I was hoping Grim would survive with the Reflect, but not enough. Okay. Iron Hands could be a scary endgame. It could be a scary endgame. Because they're going to Sucker Punch with the Urshifu, most likely, and Sword Stance with the Iron Hands. Yeah, this might have been a... Actually, I should have Terra Ghosted with my Grimmsnarl. I didn't realize I was Terra Ghost. I should have Terra Ghosted with Grimmsnarl, actually. Because, like, if I had a Terra, I was just going to Terra that side. I guess, like, I could Terra Landorus in a defensive position. So it's not, like, nowhere near over. I guess I will probably be risking crits. I think Terra flying on the Landorus should be fine, but we'll see. Sucker Punch going to come out. Does no damage with the Intimidate plus the Reflect. Stomping Tantrum is going to eliminate the Urshifu. Can't let that thing Wicked Blow here. Let's see, a Sword Stance coming out, I'd imagine. Yep, Sword Stance, all right. But it's +2 under the Reflect, and the Reflect just got set up. They do have turns. They're probably just going to protect you to get leftovers. Ooh, actually. I can Stomping Tantrum my own slot on to Protect. But, oh, man, they did it. Okay, okay. Drain Punch into the Landorus, that's fine. Okay. I wonder if they know the mechanic, because you know what? I'm kind of willing to predict the Protect again. Unless they... am I mind gaming myself? You know what? I'll Stomping Tantrum again, my own slot. It's dicey. It's dicey. Looks like they're refusing to go for the... If we Protect now, they actually got me. If they Protect now, they actually got me. Okay, I get the full power 150 base power Storming Tantrum. It ignores it gets double in power because it did fail in my own slot. I was trying to cover for the leftovers protecting because they had the leftovers protect play, but okay. I mean, sure. If they protected there, I would have been like so mad at myself for not going for it. Because like, I guess I could have stomped into their slot, then stomped into my slot afterward because they're probably going to protect on the leftovers, but had to make it close, I guess. But I should have Terra Ghosted the Grim 100%. Yeah, Terra Ghosting the Grim there, I think would have just helped secured it. Arcanine, Espafra, Dondozo, Annihilate, Amoonguss, and Mousehold. Why is there an Espafra on this team? This Espafra, is it Baton Pass? I don't see like what Espafra accomplishes. There's no like special attacking hitter that complements Espafra afterward. Okay, so this is actually kind of awkward because the Mousehold and Annihilate is actually really strange to deal with. I think I'm gonna go with Grimmsnarl and Urshifu as the lead. I should be able to break through the Mousehold completely okay, and then in the back I like, what do I even like? I like the Goodra probably because it does do the most damage, especially to Dondozo, which I really like. And then Amoonguss for the healing. I guess Amoonguss is probably worth it because Pollen Puff is really good here. Landers can be a thing, but I don't think it's necessary. Golden Go, I suppose, but I'm not fast Golden Go. I think I'm just gonna bring my own Amoonguss. I think Amoonguss is pretty safe overall, but we'll see. Because I like the idea of just Pollen Puffing. I think Pollen Puffing is gonna be really nice, as well as Rage Powder. Rage Powder is really solid too. So, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out like what. Well, I mean, there's the Annihilate, the Mousehold, Amoonguss combination. Then the rest is kind of just a strange one. Annihilate Amoonguss is the lead too. It's not even the Mousehold. I do lead Urshifu Grimmsnarl. This is actually a really ideal lead for me. Because I can just go for a Reflect immediately and I can go for a Swords Dance. And because I am the Goggles Urshifu, they are not going to be able to go for a Spore. If they are Leaf Storm Amoonguss though, I guess that's a fear. I should have probably maybe went for a Light Screen then, just to make sure about that. It's really rare to see Leaf Storm. Okay, they went for Rage Powder. We're completely okay then. So we have a Swords Dance set up with the Urshifu and a Reflect setup as well. Then we can Light Screen too. And we're faster than their Annihilate, which is also really good information. I feel like every Annihilate should be like Terra Water in this format. Frick, great. Okay. I'm doing the same thing again. Brick Break, huh? We're gonna see a Terra come out from my opponent. Is this the Annihilate or is this has to be Annihilate, right? There's no way it's the Amoonguss. Yeah, it is gonna be the Annihilate. Gonna be the Terra Electric. Is this Terra Blast? I am so lost on what the... Okay. That works. This is gonna be Terra Blast to watch. I think it has to be. Like, I don't know why you do this otherwise. Swords Dance once again. So now I am +4 Urshifu. That's really good. Thunder Punch. Oh, that also makes sense too, actually. Does not do that much. Okay. That's not great. I'm gonna party shot out the Amoonguss. I'm gonna go for a oh, the paralysis is not fun. I'm gonna Drain Punch the Annihilate. I need to move this turn somehow, whether it is through a Drain Punch or Protect. So I have to rely on the paralysis either way. I'm gonna party shot out the Amoonguss here. So I have a few outs where if the Annihilate Base and Safety Goggles on their side, maybe it's Assault Vest? Can't tell. I'm going on to my Amoonguss. Like, what is this team? Amoonguss gonna come out. We're gonna see Brick Break again, which is actually perfect. Okay. Please get the Drain Punch off. Nice. Okay, so we're able to heal. Get rid of that Annihilate. Oh, that's really, really good then. Okay, so we got rid of Annihilate. We're able to get the healing. We don't have screens up, which is like the one unfortunate part. We do get rid of the Terradil. Not bad trade-offs all around. The Amoonguss is just not doing anything on this team. And that's kind of like the one thing, like if you have a bunch of counters to Amoonguss or Spore Switch-ins, it's really tough. Spaffer are going to come in. Okay. So I want to go for a Pollen Puff into my Urshifu, and I think I want to just Surging Strikes and go for that Terra Water. Because I'm immune to everything like a Dazzling Gleam or a Psychic move. I think I should be okay if I make this play. Can't really see what else they can do. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just going to leave the Amoonguss on their side to my Goodra once I clean up everything else with the Urshifu water, hopefully. Because that is my goal right here. Let's see if that will occur. I'm gonna crash into the Urshifu. Maybe I should have Spore, but I have like no idea if there's goggles on this team. Like, we have no clue. No, nice. No paralysis, so we're able to get the Surging Strikes off. Gonna be the Focus Sash. I had a feeling it'd probably be Focus Sash, but I was not risking a goggles when I didn't need to. I could also Rage Power the following turn and just hope I don't get double parried. So as Spaffer goes down, we're able to get Pollen Puff off once again into the Urshifu, and yeah, it's not looking great for my opponent. They're down 2-4. I have a +4 Urshifu. They tried to Pollen Puff their Spafra, so this worked out. All right, who's the last? It's Flutter Me. Dundozo. Okay. I mean, that could be unaware Dundozo. So, okay. If they have Fisher, this is actually still a game, which is ironic, but Spore, and let's Drain Punch. That was gonna be forfeit. Okay. Didn't even have to bring out the Goodra, but the Swords Dancer, Shifu, Safety Goggles. Pretty crazy set. Pretty crazy set. It worked out really well in our favor, though. We were able to just, against their passive lead, I suppose, with Amoonguss. Didn't have to worry about it. All right, let's go over the games. In the first game, my opponent was unable to damage my Hisuian Goodra under screens, while I was able to get consistent chip and knockouts. In game 2, was able to immediately damage my opponent's team while getting rid of the Shein Power early that let my Goodra wall their team. In game 3, Safety Goggles Urshifu was able to ignore the Amoonguss, letting me knock out the Fluttermane early, but there were a few options that would have made the game easier, especially going for the Terra Ghost with my Grimmsnarl or just going for the Stomping Tantrum for the first hit instead of the immediate side target, but we played a little bit aggressive there. In game 4, Swords Dancer Shifu with Safety Goggles was able to sweep, ignoring the Amoonguss while luckily not getting fully paralyzed after that Thunder Punch para from the Annihilate. I knew Hisuian Goodra had a lot more potential than just the Iron Defense Shelter Body Press set. I think it has really good potential overall, and the damage output with how well it was able to take attacks was fantastic overall. If you want to try out the team, the rental code is on your screen, and you can check out the description for the creator as well as details of the team. But of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.